backtrack. Andy, let's think of it like this. The IOC made many requests to FILA. Many requests to FILA. You need to change this. You need to change that. You need to fix this. You need to adjust that. You need to tweak that. Almost in a, yeah, whatever kind of response. We kept pushing that back onto the IOC. How did we get there? How did we get to this point to where we're less than a week away from a decision that can truncate us any way, shape, or form from the Olympic Games? How did we get here?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really, how did we get to that point in February? Because where we are now is, I think we are cautiously optimistic that we're going to have, been able to save wrestling from going over the precipice. And I think you described it perfectly. It was that kind of attitude, that sort of either complacency or arrogance that we don't have to respond to these. We're wrestling. We started the Olympics, and you can't ever have that attitude. And I think wherever you see that attitude, whether it's in any of your local programs, your college programs, whether it's at the national level, the international level, if you ever get a sense of that, sort of complacency, that type of arrogance, you have to root it out and say we always have to fight to be the very best we can be. I think we've done a lot of things. We've been able to have here in our country have a lot of influence in some of the changes at FILA. There have been a lot of changes at FILA in the last 6 months. How we got there is I don't know. That's a real positive discussion. I'm more interested in talking about how to make sure we don't ever get there again. And I feel very good about the people who are now, so call it running or leading FILA. Hopefully they'll maintain the energy and the enthusiasm they've had for the last 6 months, which brought us back brought us back the first step where we were one of 5 sports being looked at in February to potentially be cut. We were the one that got cut. We came back, we were thrown into a pool of 8 sports that are fighting for one provisional spot. In May, so from February to May, we were able to go from being cut by the executive committee to being the top vote getter amongst the 8 provisional sports. And now there are 3, and going to the General Assembly. Hopefully we will we'll come out favorably in that vote. We worked very hard with rule changes, changes to our board at our FILA Bureau to include more athletes, changes with the weight classes to demonstrate and implement more gender equity. And so these were all positive things that had not been happening for years at FILA that have happened in a few short months. So that's a positive, and I think you got to just have to go forward and say we cannot get back into that old mindset because we're not done. As I said before, we're only in for 2020 and 2024, and we're 2016 too. So 2016, 2020, 2024, and that's not enough. We have to find a way to get back in as a core sport, to be a permanent part of the Olympics.
I see, and I don't want to disregard and paying attention to the past, because the reason why I want to focus on that is because we spoke about this a little earlier. We don't want to keep making the same mistakes. We want to understand and recognize what kind of hindered us and make sure that we cut that off and keep moving forward in a new direction with new leadership, with a new mindset. As we move forward and we start thinking about it, 2020, 2024, so on and so forth, let's think real locally for us now. Let's think 2015. It's on American soil, the World Championships. How much of an impact, if it's not made, if the decision is not made for 2024 and all of that, how much of an impact can we make here on American soil with the proper leadership?
Well, I think Wade laid out a good plan. I think what we're talking about is very compatible with each other. I think for 2015, and we have to sort of take that as a challenge to show the world just how well this can be done, and how attractive it can be to come watch, how exciting the sport can be. That's what a lot of the rule changes did. Make it more understandable to the watcher, to the viewer who maybe doesn't understand wrestling as much. Make it more exciting to watch. Make it clear that why each wrestler won. Those are things that we can then demonstrate and find ways to market ourselves going into the worlds to be just a tremendously positive experience for the athlete and for the viewer. And I'm sure Wade has probably a few more ideas about what we can do for 2015 to re-emphasize just how exciting a sport this can be.
There's no doubt what we can do. In the past, FILA was the dog and we were the tail. USA Wrestling, American Wrestling, Internet, and we took our lead from FILA, and FILA was going down the wrong road. And I believe the IOC pointed that out to us very dramatically here in February. We have an opportunity here. We have some capability of income. We have capability of, we have more wrestling rooms in America than any country in the world. We have more wrestlers wrestling than any country in the world. We have better sports medicine than any country in the world. We have better sports psychology than any country in the world. There's one or two others. We lead the world in everything. Best nutrition of any country in the world. We can lead the world in wrestling. We need to demonstrate USA Wrestling, American wrestling people need to do the 2015 and show FILA what can be done with some rule changes, alterations in maybe from our uniforms to the way we present ourselves to the media, and let them look at our leadership. We have always followed FILA, and well, whatever you want to do, we'll go along with it. Well, we went along with it, and we're all where we are right now talking in front of the camera. I believe we are capable in America of being creative. If there's one thing Americans are, they're creative more than any other country. And we can come up with ideas and ways to market, come up with solutions to the problems we have, to get people, make it more user-friendly, our sport, which it's not currently, to make it a special event in 2015 where the IOC, whether they accept us next week or they reject us, they can look back on this and go, did we make a mistake? Look what they're doing at the World Championships 2015. Maybe even make them take a look at coming back in 2018 and reevaluate and bring us in as a different type of position if they would not allow us to come in, although I'm very optimistic that we're going to get back in. But we deserve to be where we are. We deserve to be introspective of what we need to do and where we are, and to go through these hard times that we're going through. We brought it on ourselves. We've come together to make some decisions, to make some changes at FILA, to make some changes here at home in our thought process and the direction we want to go. And ultimately it's going to be, what doesn't kill you always makes you stronger. And wrestling will be stronger because of it. We know how to fight, we know how to compete, we know how to persist. And we don't go down without going down swinging. And we won't. And we'll make it work. And we will win this. And we will be stronger in the process. Will there be some upset along the way? Yep. Will there be some casualties? You bet. And there should be. But ultimately, wrestling's going to win. It's the best sport there is.